Hey, welcome to another episode of Becoming a TechnoWizard. On my path to become a product designer. I need to have an intro, y'all. Um, Here we go. Get right into it. Just want to go ahead and show what a good job we did on our presentation, talking about our usability test reports. Learned some good stuff, got some good insights from my client as well. So we're in the final, what do you call it, the home stretch of our job here. My shirt looks huh, interesting. It's because of the chair. They got some chairs. They painted them cerulean or whatever the hell the color this is. Anyways, here we go. This is the agenda. This is what we're going to talk about. This is the stuff that we did. Converged design. I'm gonna put my camera in the middle, and then a prototype. I can show that off in here. I'm gonna go through that in a second. But boom, bam. So we did 6 user interviews. There were usability tests and scenario based. So we gave some tasks, and we were like, see if you can accomplish this task. So this for the homepage, we wanted to test out if people can use this homepage to find what they were looking for. So if that was an initiative or organization or a business that they wanted to reach out to, we wanted to see what this will do for them. And this is some of the stuff we said. Unfortunately, about half of them said this was really busy. This is a really busy page, and you can see more of that. So what they mean on the full view here. It is a lot going on. Again, I'm very proud of this because there was a lot that our client and our client and target audience wanted to do. Like they want to be able to you know have an easy way to see what's going on in the community. They want to be able to find specific types of events or specific types of organizations. They want to be able to they have different preferences for how they want to view information. Um, so this is a lot, unfortunately. But at the same time, even though this is a lot, and a lot of them said that this was a very busy page, it's kind of chaotic, that they didn't really know what's going on. At the same time, they all liked that it showed all the information that they wanted. And some other things they said is that, this made it easy for them to see what's going on in the community, which accomplished the goal. So already I think I showed one of these past videos, but already, I already started to redesign this page and, make a more streamlined thing. So it will only be like this grid and none of this below, none of this, all these menus would not be here. So I'm already working on how to fix this problem, but that's the feedback we got for that. Oh yeah, I didn't really build out those other tabs, the list view, grid view, map view. I mean the list view, map view, calendar view. But each of those were very, they had a higher interest in seeing what those look like and seeing, and using those as ways of filtering through the information. So we know that these are highly requested features. And then another thing is the feature pages, these down here, even though the buttons were kind of unclear, the fact that the page narrowed, the page, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Page narrowed down the stuff here meant it was easier for people to see what was going on. And so they liked that it narrowed it down. So, however, and what our client pointed out is that this one's particularly, the button says, you're going to feature organizations and the page is for featured organizations, but we feature organizers here, and that's not really as much of a need because you don't really want random people to be like contacting these people. You want them to like go to the organization and maybe have some type of filter or some type of way to see who was like a valid point of contact. But yeah, so kind of a mix of positive and constructive, but overall they liked the power, all the things that you can do here. And then the next page is the profile pages. So on this page, we want to see if this offered enough information for them to make a decision on whether they would offer support or whether they would request support in the case of a business. And they all agreed that this page is very clear and straightforward. It had all the information that they wanted, or pretty much most of all the information they wanted. And they liked the ability to see like the contacts here, the team of the event, and the request form afterwards is very straightforward. However, our client pointed out that we want to be careful about having contact information, having the ability to contact these, teammates directly, because, again, this site is accessible by the public. Like, you don't have to sign in to see this. So we have to be able to kind of, again, what I said before, kind of filter out who is going to be able to contact these people. Uh, Another like oversight we had is that the um, the the page we had, like on the home page, this has the Out Youth Prom, but on here it's the Out Youth Organization. And we did mean to go directly to the event, because the homepage is primarily for like things that's going on in the community right now. And then from there, you should be able to access the organization. Like a lot of organizations, they would you're not necessarily donating, or this portal is not necessarily for donating directly to the organization. You want to be able to like give these different options of support to events, to initiatives that those organizations and those people, put on. And so we need to make sure that, we're prioritizing the event, the initiative pages first, and then from initiative page, you can go to the organization that's putting it on. Um, but yeah, otherwise it's really like the visual design is not super great on here, but we are the UX team. We're not the UI people, and our primary focus is to get as much information on here as possible, and put it in a way that is digestible, that is useful for people. So we pretty much accomplished that. The only thing that we really have to add is and I'll show you later. It comes from another part, but like a testimonial section that shows, what other people were impacted by this event, and what their stories are, just particularly for the business side. And you can see the business side; it's almost exactly the same. But for the business, they have badges, and this was highly regarded too. They like that you can see how this business is impacting the community, um, and this is more kind of like branding as well. So on this page, like on the business page, we can put, hey, this is other organizations that they supported, other events that they supported. This is the people that they've supported. And that will give people more of a visceral, emotional connection with this business. Another thing also for the homepage and really for the whole website is that we didn't do enough to provide great branding for Quell, for our client. So we need to do more for that. We need to, make this have just more options to like show Quell branding, that associate this website with Austin Outpost and Quell, besides just this here. Maybe importing their diamond, their logo up here, instead of just like down here. Or as like we use it as part of a badge, but he wants to use it as in more areas of the website as well. All right. And now we have our recognition screen. So this was a little bit, we could have thought this through a little bit better, but none, nonetheless. So when you support an organization, you go to request page, their support page, request some help. On this page, we probably also can do more to have more space for people to, put how they're going to provide each of these resources. And really, we could probably restructure this so that, for each of these, you can put like a description of how you're going to, or what you're going to give, and or have some type of just more nuance of how you're going, what you're going to give and how much you're going to give. But yeah, for an organization, for a business, once they support the community a certain amount of times, they can get this page. So it's essentially a level up page, that gamification feeling. So after you support a number of initiatives in this case, and the qualifiers that you can change this. So it might be amount of things you donated, amount of resources, people that you've impacted. That's up to Quell to decide, what will be the main qualifiers for tracking this leveling system. But if they allow multiple ones, then you can see where your levels lie in these multiple qualifiers, these multiple areas of impact. But yeah, this was they liked this as well, that you had this gamification factor, that you had something to live up to on the platform. But some good feedback is that we could put this kind of earlier on in the process, and really for the website too. And I'll talk about more of that later. But we can put like a more of an onboarding experience early on in the process to show people what they can look forward to with this website. And we left these benefits kind of blank because when we wanted to get more information on specific specific benefits that they would want. And so we had them list out some things that they would see that they would want to receive, and that some of those were being shouted out on a newsletter, on social media, being featured on the main page, getting physical banners and materials and stuff like that from Quell saying, hey, we're supporting the community, stuff like that. So that's definitely stuff we can list out here in the later portions. But yeah, that is the level up page there. And then we got our dashboard. And so we had two sides of the dashboard. I only really show you one because they're both this this is the exact same for both. I just changed the wording. But they liked this dashboard. They thought it was a huge step up from what they were doing now, which is most of them are just like using docs, text, bunch of spreadsheets to try to keep everything organized. So the fact that they have this here that keeps all their initiatives, all their projects in the LGBT community organized in one space is super awesome for them. So they really like that. They would like to see this part, and this is what I was talking about before. What I was thinking is that I would have this. Yeah, I mentioned this in the past video, um, but yeah, this live change section is for like it shows the pictures of people, right? Of people that you've impacted with your event, with your initiatives, and what you go in there is tells their story. But there's a lot of them said this could be put on the profile, public profile, so that people coming online, people looking at their page can see how they impacted that community, and on the back end they would like to see more metrics and measurements. Another interesting fact is that they would like to see a notes section somewhere, either here or in one of these tabs, so that they can keep just more notes on things. So like I'll show you what those other pages look like. So here's what I was talking about before. Yeah. So they're making an event. They could say, hey, we might need some other things, other goals that we want to meet that's not listed here. If because the platform can't really figure out everything that people would need. We just wanted to focus on like the key things that people would need. But maybe they need um I don't know, educational resources, or some consultancy or something like that. Maybe they can put a note for themselves or for their team here, and they can look at that. And for supporters, they can put some more notes about their supporters, saying, hey, this person has given this item for the last 3 years, so this is a good contact for that. Or maybe they wanted to switch it up to say, hey, this person has given the same item for the last 3 years. Maybe we can ask somebody else so we can give more people other chances, or whatever. um, but yeah, a note section is just so they can put other thoughts in there. So that was a very interesting piece as well. um, and they want to see how their team account will look like, so they can invite their whole team there. And we need to be able to give people the ability to edit their profile, their account, so that if they change jobs, what happens to this dashboard. Do they still have access to the same contacts, or how do we update that stuff? So we have to think about that as well. um Let me see. Yeah, that's basically it here. But they really liked the dashboard. It was pretty cool. I'm glad about that. I spent a lot of time on that. And finally, we have the account creation. Technically, this is not really our priority, like we didn't really have a scenario specifically for logging in. It was more so as a part of getting to the dashboard. But this was important because what we realized, again, we should have realized before, if we weren't rushing so much, um, we had more time, but they wanted to see this first. Like when they first come on the page, they wanted to see, something that tells you what the site is about, and ask them, what their role is, what they want to accomplish here on the site. And that way the site can filter them to the to the appropriate resources, so that when they get to the home page, they're not like bombasted with everything at once. They can just see specifically what they want, they were looking for. So that was some very good feedback. Show you what the big page looks like here. So yeah, and in addition, so I already started, designing a new one for this, and so it wouldn't be like these thick buttons. It's just not really great. But we're gonna have like a title, and it will have like bullets underneath telling you, what each of these roles entails. So like what type of, like for a community organizer, this is for people who are nonprofits who usually are offering or asking for support, or maybe even for nonprofits that are connecting with other nonprofits. And then affirming businesses would, of course, be local businesses as well as large corporations that usually want to offer their support. And then for community allies and volunteers, these are just regular public people who might want to volunteer for different events. So we'll list all that under here so people know exactly what they're getting into. And then when you do that, you get taken to this page, or something similar to this page, where you're going to be able to choose what your tags are, what things you're interested in, so that when you go to the dashboard, it will just have that. So already it's filtered for what you want to look at. We'll probably take this out as well. This is unnecessary, that a lot of people were kind of confused by that part, so it's not big. But otherwise than that, you know that's that. Oh yeah, and they were not sure, if you could request or offer support, without logging in, and we do need to make that more clear. I think you should be able to, um, but again, that's up to the client. It's not. I'm not sure if it's a huge detractor of either case. Some of the pros and cons. So if you allow people to request or offer support, without logging in, and then you can have a greater number of people theoretically that is using the site. At the same time, you don't have their account. You don't have as much what you call it, stickiness. That's encouraging people to log in and to make an account and to stay with the website for a long period of time. Um, so it is a little bit more friction to make an account. However, you know, usually once you put that much time and effort into making an account, you're usually gonna want to come back to the page and use it more and more. Um, and we can also validate, we can verify people, and we can make sure that they're part of the community. So really, yeah, it might be necessary to make sure that you can only request or offer support if you're a validated part of the community. Um, at the same time, like, make an account is really just putting your email in. There's no strict validation method. We were talking about some of that, like having some type of member ID that you're given when if you volunteer, or if you go to a community event. One of the organizers there can give you a member ID, and then you can use that to log into the site. But the problem with that is that's a lot of effort and operations going on in the background, and it's not, our client said it's not really feasible for this site. So I don't know. I don't know. But either way, we're going to make it so that you can easily make an account. um, so we might talk with the client through email or something like that, and ask them, hey, is it really necessary to, should we block people from making an account? Um, I mean, maybe that's not even, a thing that we can really design. Maybe that's for the next team, the developers, to decide. Because from a design standpoint, we have account creation. The only thing we can really do is have like no buttons there for if you're not logged in, and if you're logged in, there's buttons. That's really the only real difference I see. Um, and maybe contact information, stuff like that. So I don't know. We have to see more. He did say safety features is pretty important. So an account, I imagine, would would be important for that. So I don't know. But yeah, overall, we had a pretty cool website design that all of our participants really enjoyed, and most of the scenarios were very straightforward. Were successful, completed, successfully. The homepage needs to be simplified, and I'm working on that. But the profile page, is pretty good. There's only like small things that we can, put in there, like testimonials. The dashboard is pretty great as well for people. We could just include measurable metrics, and overall, it was it's a success. So we're doing real good stuff. And then we did a workshop, um, ethos, logos, pathos. So ethos was like it's like the um, your credibility, it says it here. So it's how well the website establishes its authority and its credibility with the community. If people can trust their website, to do what it says it does. And then logos is how organizes everything. How much does everything make sense? Is everything factual? Stuff like that. So we had some great insight for that. And then finally, pathos is how well does a website invoke emotion, real positive emotions, and we got some good insight for that. To cover that real quick, um, the client said that we did have some good amount of organization, but again, we could simplify the website. Just some small things in terms of navigation, and then for I'm sorry, that was for logos, for the logical side, and then for ethos and credibility, he said we can put more branding in there. That's what I was talking about before. Put more quell branding, as well as um, more safety features to make people feel secure when they're offering or requesting access to certain resources, and when they're putting in their information. And finally, pathos is that he personally didn't feel moved, but at the same time, he is not a person that's usually too emotional. um, but maybe if we put like more visuals, more stuff like that, we can impact it. Maybe it's just a problem of UI. Like we're again, with the UX team, without the UI, we have no colors on there. Colors would be a huge way of establishing that emotional impact. But at the same time, we can include pages that's like, when you can, the confirmation pages could be like, hey, thank you for doing this, that, and the other. You've impacted community, stuff like that. So we can turn the confirmation pages into something that's more evocative, um, and that will probably help. But he did say that one of our interviewers, because he knows all the the interview participants, he's the one that brought them. But one of them, the one I interviewed, she texted him, and she was like, she was moved to tears, with what we were doing to help, create this portal for Quell. She's super excited to see it. So, we got that pathos. So that was great to hear. And finally, we had him prioritize some pages that we had yet to be built out. And so this was pretty cool to see that, he would he highly prioritized things like safety features, the admin panel, team account page, um, settings, and the volunteer dashboard, and I think fulfillment page. What others is not so, he doesn't really care about. So yeah, we got some good information from all of that, and then we just had our, that's when we got like 9 days to finish everything, or less now. But it's gonna be a bit of a push, and with only two of us left. But we're excited to do it. You know, this is what our client said in the very beginning, is that he wanted this platform to be a light on the hill for the community. So happy to build that out, and excited to see where this goes. So boom, bam. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me stop sharing. And yeah, let me know your thoughts too, and what you think about this this design, this concept, and this whole idea and stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. um, and thanks for watching. Yeah. Bye bye.